guys, it's Daniel, and this is In the Studio with Daniel. Well, actually, no, I'm sorry. This is your weekly Angel Oracle card reading with Daniel. I am Daniel, and this reading is for the week of September 21st, 2015. We're doing a little different today. The universe finally blessed me with an iPad, to which Apple then released with the new iPads, iOS 9, and with the new firmware they had to update any apps that they had out so that they could work with the new firmware. And iMovie, which is the app I use to make my scrolling cards, the readings I do, has been altered in such a way that it can only show when you do, they're actually pictures that I import when I capture them from my digital decks. You're only allowed 2 minutes and 30 seconds for the first picture, and then every picture you add after that, which mine can be 7 to 10 depending on what reading I'm doing, or say 5 to 10, it actually drops each frame to a maximum of like 2 minutes and 10 seconds or something. I think typically it'll be usable, but I'm slightly upset because first of all I paid good money for that app back when it first came out. Now it's, it only costs half of what it used to, or even less now. I think it's only like $5 now. I think I may have paid $20 for it originally, but they're really limiting it. So that's going to either force me to do two things. Either I'm going to have to start recording more like this, or I'm going to have to keep my readings, which can go a little long, to now this is restricting me to a finite span of time, which maybe is the universe telling me, trim them down a little bit. They're getting a little long. That being said, we'll see what the coming weeks give. This week and next week are both going to be 5-card readings, and I'll explain why in a minute. You probably see this little fuzzball on my belly. This is a new addition to our home. This is Miss Chloe London, and she is a rescue. She is a Maine Coon mix, and she's just the most adorable thing you ever have seen. She is very tiny. In the 2 weeks we've had her, she's doubled in size. She still fits kind of in my hand, and I have pretty large hands. She still fits in my hand, but last week or 2 weeks ago when I did that, she barely was peeking over my fingers. Now I have to kind of hold her to hold her. She's growing, but she's still very tiny. She was supposed to be the runt of a litter. In my years of fostering and doing animal welfare work, I believe she may have been from a different litter. She seemed much younger and more or less developed than the other kittens in the litter, to the point where the woman who was rescuing them recognized she needed extra care and reached out for help. So we've brought little Miss Chloe into our home, and right now she's living in my 10 by 10 den of Zen here, hence the table back here is missing. I'm in a mirrored image now. It's freaking me out. Everything is broken down right now, so she's safe. We have a very large golden retriever and a pretty large ragdoll cat. So they both have taken to her and they love her very much, but they still don't understand the frailty of how tiny she is. So we're keeping her separated. Supervised visitation, we'll call it. And so for the next little bit, my room is her home. So you may hear her meow or see some stuff move in the back there, and it's just Miss Chloe, nothing supernatural. I'll give you one more peek at the cutest thing you'll ever see. With all that being said, on to our reading today. It's going to be a little bit of a long one again. I'm doing a 5-card angel card reading, plus we have our numerology card and our angel number card. So we're actually doing 7 cards today. Why am I doing the larger reading for the next 2 weeks? Well, some of you may be aware that there is a lot of fear-mongering going on in the world right now. It's been building up over the past several months, but it's really hit an all-time high. Pardon me. There have been prophecies and religious leaders spouting off things from Revelations, and YouTube conspiracy theorists putting out all this garbage about Jade Helm and how the world governments are trying to exterminate 3/4 of the world's population. And one of the theories are they're doing this by they're landed a probe on an asteroid so that they could steer the probe to impact the Earth. So you would say, well, why would our governments want to wipe out 3/4 of the Earth and take out the entire east coast of America when the Pope and all the world leaders and the President of the United States are going to be on the East Coast this week? To me, that's enough of a piece of evidence to say, obviously, that's not happening. But there's been a ton of fear-mongering, and then there's been a ton of speculation of this great mass ascension that's about to happen. Some people believe that the particle accelerator, CERN, they're going to refire that up a couple of years ago now. They've actually was able to move a particle of matter faster than the speed of light. So they're in the process of running that now. And the theory is, people are theorizing, not the actual scientific theory. People are theorizing that when they do this experiment and push even a larger cluster of particles faster than the speed of light, it's going to somehow open some wormhole, and there's going to be either first contact with aliens, or our planet's going to be torn apart by a black hole. Regardless what is about to happen over the next couple of weeks, the information I am getting, and the information that has been shared with me by Archangel Michael, and by the Angelic Collective, and by, I'm saying this because I feel like they're telling me to say this. I'm assuming it's because I receive information from them as well, but the Galactic Federation of Light, I guess it is. I do believe in star beings, light beings that are from what we would call, I guess, extraterrestrial worlds. The Pleiadians in particular. Supposedly I'm a Pleiadian starseed, according to several people I've sat with over the years. But what I am being told, the information that rings true for me, is that there's going to be definitely an energetic shift again, and it's ongoing, and it's been going on for probably 40 years, but it's intensifying right now. And there may be suddenly some weird things happening, and there certainly may be falls of government because of these shifts, but it's all positive stuff. Nothing reeks of end of days, Armageddon, or cataclysmic extinction level events. I don't want to judge the people who are spending 20 of their 24 hours a day just pandering these ideas of negativity and fear to the world. I pray for the people that watch it and fall victim to it. We're going to get into our reading. I wanted to predecess it with that and just say, prior to pulling these cards, the information I was given personally was, in the coming times, there will be shifts and there will be alterations, and we will each have our own individualized personal experience of that. And as we are moving into a time where the energy is just quantumly jumping ahead higher and higher in frequency, we will be able to manifest things into our reality much more easily. So it's important now than ever to not buy into the fear, to not have anxiety, but to live in a frequency of love and acceptance and trust. Trust in the plan. You see something goofy going on TV, you get a little nervous about it, you have to trust it's for your individual better. We're all going to be blessed with opportunities and advancements, and all this stuff is right around the corner. And why would the angels, why would the deity figures of the world, regardless of what religion you are, be sending us these messages and this information if it wasn't true, if they were going to kill us all on Wednesday? So with that in mind, I want to get into the reading, because that information was given to me prior to pulling these cards, and I don't know why it still fascinates me and still seems like a miracle to me, but of course the cards followed perfect suit. So the first two things are our angel number and numerology. Now, as I started to draw the 5 cards, and again I'll explain each position as we go, the first card was an ace, which is 1. The second card was major arcana, and in case you're new to my readings, whenever I come across a major arcana, that's where my number collection stops. So it was a 1 and major arcana 10, which is 110. So we're looking at 110 for our angel number. Numerology, 1 plus 10 is 11. Traditionally, you would break that down to 2. We're not doing breakdowns because 11 is a master number. Now I'm going to cheat for these two because I actually don't have these cards physically in my hand. I kind of came in here impromptu because the iPad wasn't working too well with me. So we're just going to do this off my digital cards on my phone. So angel number 110. You and God are co-creating the answers to your prayers, and God needs your cooperation in this endeavor. Help him by staying positive and following divine guidance. So again, we're talking about manifestation into reality. And I hope that's coming in clear for you guys. I see there's a little glare there. It's all about positive vibration, positive energy, positive focus. No worry. Worry is prayer for what you don't want. If you sit there and pray, Lord, no snow, no snow. I don't want it to snow. I'm scared of snow. Please don't let it snow. Oh God, I hope it doesn't snow. Why is it going to snow? Please don't let it snow. Guess what? It's going to snow. Worry is prayer for you. Anything you're bringing into that you're focused on, and your energy is projected and focused into, is what you're calling into your reality through manifestation. So the point of that whole angel number is God is trying to give you the perfect reality that you have prayed for, but it's weird to think that whatever you recognize God as would need your help. But the fact of the matter is God is every one of us, and we are creating through the God within us. But if our human consciousness limits that manifestation with fear or with what have you, it makes it difficult for the energy to work through us that way. And then the numerology reading was 11, which the master number interpretation of this card is individuality. Now, the numerology cards I use, I believe, are by Michelle Buchanan. It's one of the few decks that are not Doreen Virtue decks. Numerology can be very complex. You get into the unbalanced characteristics of a number, the balance, and then the pendulum swing the opposite way of unbalanced. And there's so many different things and all the subtleties. What Michelle Buchanan has done is taken those numbers and broke them down to the core kind of concept of each number. So for master number 11, we see individuality. So what that's telling us is it's now more than ever, we have to express ourselves as individuals. Regardless of what group we're affiliated with, what school we go to, what class we claim we are, race, nationality, religion, marital status, sexual orientation, regardless of anything that we as human beings strive to fit into a group, we are coming into the time where individual expression is more important. It's through your individuality. It's through your individuality that you are that's the only way you're going to be able to embrace the changes that are coming, because every single person is going to have a change that's individual to them with where they are in their journey. Not everybody's going to shift exactly the same way, because there's people who came onto this planet who, and you would look at and say, well, they're not very spiritual, but they're already so advanced that their shift, they only jump a little tiny bit. Then you have people who are maybe new to coming here in lifetime, existences here, incarnations, who though they do yoga and they have all the certificates on their wall from all the Hay House classes, they're still very young in their journey, so they may have a much larger leap to take. So it's nothing that can be looked upon at face value, and it's nothing that can be judged by how spiritual or how advanced someone is. We're all kind of being brought up to a level, even playing field, I feel. And this is where your individuality has to shine through. You have to be the authentic self, the self that you agreed to come here to be, to fulfill your soul purpose and live as your divine being. Because if you start seeing what's happening with others and you fear that, or you prefer this and I want that to happen for me, how come they get to do it? It's like because that's what their journey is. So we have to really resonate with our individuality right now, because each and every one of our individual realities, as whatever happens in the next couple of weeks, if anything at all, if we're not in that individual mindset and we're not processing what's happening to us, why it's happening to us, or not even really the why, but how are we going to use that to spring forward and be the soul that we need to be, that we have longed to be. You can't do that worrying about where their shift has taken them. And that's kind of, I don't want to get too long-winded with it, but that's kind of what I'm feeling. And I will say this, do I think that come October 1st, there's going to be some craziness, through the end of September, and come October 1st, we're no longer going to be here? I don't feel that at all. Do I feel like I'll no longer have to go to work? Nope. I'll be at work on October 1st. Do I feel like it's going to be end of days for us? Not at all. I think it's going to be, in traditional tarot, there's the death card, but the death card never means death. In the angel tarot, it's been replaced with renewal. Archangel Azrael, the angel of death. And death is never about death. It's about the end of a situation and the beginning of a new situation. And typically, it's always a better direction. And I think that's what's happening here. And for some of us, we're not going to notice any difference. For others, you may notice a substantial difference. But it's in that difference that you have to trust the plan and understand that this is great. I may not even fully understand why, but something great has just happened. And like I said, I was given this information prior to the cards. I really feel like I'm railing because they're trying to talk at this point. Maybe I should throw the cards and just let them talk. I don't know. But it's all good stuff. And that was the information I got prior to the cards. So we're going to get into the cards now because it's pretty amazing the way that they align with this message. So in a situational reading, we have 5 cards. The first card is the situation, and you're asking for information on a specific situation. For me, it was about these shifts, changes, these occurrences, whatever has been rumored to happen or whatever it may be in our cards to happen over the next 2 weeks, specifically from Wednesday the 23rd through Monday the 28th. It seems to be when we're at this peak of this like solar gamma rays or whatever's happening. So we begin with Ace of Raphael. A positive, new emotional experience, fulfilling romantic relationships, deep and lasting spiritual insights. I do not believe in my heart of hearts that there could have been, if I can get that to focus, the glare is kind of killing me here. Anyway, a positive new emotional experience, fulfilling romantic relationships, deep and lasting spiritual insights. I don't believe in my heart there could have been a better card in this deck to address the situation. That card is telling me wholeheartedly from Archangel Raphael and the Angelic Collective in entirety that is a positive, emotional, and spiritual change is coming. And the fulfilling romantic relationships is about us shifting into an energy of love. I believe, moving through this time, we are going to be altered to really take our place in the universe as a unconditionally loving society of beings. And once you resonate globally as a community with the idea of unconditional love, your planet can't help but to ascend. You can't help but live at such a higher frequency that everything has changed. There's compassion from our governments, from our leaders, from our military, from our co-workers, from our bosses, from our workers. Everything changes when you resonate in love. And that's what I feel is happening. So this card is telling us that what's going on is emotional. Oh, hello. She's like staring at me. I don't know if you can see that. She's sleepy. It's emotional, it's spiritual, and it has everything to do with, it says romantic relationships, but for me, it's being translated by them to love. It's all about love. So the next card would be expectations of the situation. So, again, there's been a lot of negative fear-mongering, and then there's been a lot of, oh, we're going to just wake up and be crystalline beings and never know what it is to worry or feel pain ever again. That would be wonderful, but we now know it's a positive thing. So now the expectations associated with the positive side, we have Ace of Michael. A wonderful new idea. Don't allow bumps in the road to hinder your progress. Clear up communication problems with others. You know what? I am mistaken. My apologies. I think yes. I'm sorry, that was the wrong card. Oh, geez, how embarrassing. I'm fiddling with the little one here, and I drew off the other side of the stack that I was supposed to be drawing off of. My apologies. I said it in the beginning. The second card I drew was Major Arcana 10, and that's, hello, find the camera. That's the wheel. In this case, represented by Archangel Jeremiel or Jeremiel. In the Angel Tarot deck, I am having a hard time with this mirror image. In the Tarot deck, it features Archangel Michael. So, or in the Angel Tarot. The wheel reads, new beginnings, end of delays, a change in direction that offers happiness. This speaks so true to the expectations that many people have of this great ascension. See, some of it's about doom and gloom, others is about ascension. It's like two ends of the spectrum. The expectations of the positive end of this prediction, I guess, is that we're all going to ascend and be beautiful light beings, and it's going to be end of pain, as I already said. So this is showing the expectations with this situation. I feel that this is what they're telling me to say, this is a new beginning. This is a huge change. This is the end of difficult situations for us. And it is have us moving into a direction of happiness. But it's all your perspective. It's all how you see, how you define it. And the key to all this is not to define anything. Take the opportunities, take the energy, move forward as the river takes you, so to speak. Lao Tzu of Taoism, the founder of Taoism, said, may things play forward as they must. It's just, you just go with the flow. So that's the expectations, which fits right into the positive situation, which we now know from the angels is going to be positive. So the third card is influences. Things influencing the situation and how you're feeling and how you're reacting to it. Now we know it's a positive situation, so naturally the influences should probably be positive as well. So here we have 3 of Gabriel. Gabriel is actually a motherly, kind of maternal energy. So me and many of the angel community refer to the angel, there is no he or she, but refer to the angel in the feminine turn of Gabriel. Prosperity arising from wise planning. Time to take the next step. Optimistic plans that turn out as expected. So the advice card here is telling us, basically, I gotta figure out where I'm getting that glare from. I think it's my crystal bed up there. I have a bunch of crystals laid out over top of those LED lights so they illuminate the room. It's pretty awesome. This card is telling us that we've put in the footwork, we've planted the seeds, and it's telling us to continue to plant the seeds, continue to make these plans, a specific decision, a specific idea, a specific concept of where it is you're going and what it is you want. And the more specific you can be, the better. And as you do this, things are going to turn out exactly the way that you planned it. Now, I just said, don't define it. But I'm trying to explain the best way I can through the chatter right now. The difference between defining it and having a specific idea. A specific idea would be, I wish to be living in a reality where there is no pain, there is no hunger, there is no strife. We work together as a unit, and we, do what we can and receive what we need, or whatever utopian idea you may have. That's a specific idea. A definition would be, I want to be blessed with $1 million and given a property on a private island in the Bahamas, because that's my idea of happiness. That's a definition. So I hope I'm making it clear the difference. When you're asking, here's one that everybody may relate to. People say, I'm manifesting abundance. And they're surrounded by friends and family. They have a great marriage and wonderful children and a dog who's 18 is not going to die anytime soon. Their car never breaks down. Anytime they need something, there's 50 neighbors there ready to lend a hand. But then they go to bed at night and say, my bank account has $10 in it. Why haven't you answered my prayer of abundance? Well, because you asked for abundance. And abundance takes on many definitions. And you have been blessed 10 times over with life abundance. Maybe when you said a definition, you should have said financial abundance. So there's subtle differences. She put out the idea of abundance and received abundance, but it wasn't financial abundance. She took the idea and turned it into a definition, and that's where she was let down. And I'm saying she because I just used that as an example that this was a woman. It was nobody in particular. So, definite idea and concepts of where you want to be, but no definition of how you're going to get there or what it's going to look like. So moving into the next card, so that was influence. The next card is advice. So we're influencing it by setting the seeds, by keeping those positive thoughts and laying out those plans. Now, next card we have Knight of Air. Now, Knight is a court card, so there's some descriptive terms here. We have trustworthy. I'm sorry, I said Knight of Air. Knight of Ariel. My apologies. Trustworthy, understanding, devoted, and funny. There is so much to accomplish. Make a very detailed plan, being watched over by someone kind. So here again, so this is the advice. In order for this stuff to play out the way that the cards are telling us, there is a lot to be accomplished. So don't give in to fear and shut down. Really get out. It's getting out there, but it's not physically getting out there. It's more about, I guess, getting in there, getting inside, cleaning out inside what no longer serves you, releasing it, letting it go. But make a very detailed plan. Now, I just basically spoke on that entire thing before I even brought this card up and read it. Now, I did draw these, and I looked at them briefly, but when I drew them, I wasn't ready for the reading yet, so I actually didn't thoroughly read it. But now, after I just gave that whole spiel that they were bringing through, and now I just read that, make very detailed plans. That's the advice. And understand you're being watched over by someone kind, whether it be in corporeal flesh or whether it be on the other side. You're being looked out for at this time and guided. And again, they wouldn't be making these arrangements with us if we weren't going to be here. So anyone out there who is being caught up and gripped, maybe you're watching this reading because you want answers or you want a prediction, you are safe and you are right where you're supposed to be, and trust in the plan. Now, outcome. Ace of Michael. Anytime Michael is the beginning or the end of anything, you're in business. I resonate highly with Michael. Michael is my, I guess, primary guardian. I don't know if that's the right terminology I'm using, but he is with me. I've invoked him my whole life since I was a child, before I even fully knew what I was doing. And we work very closely. He is one of my main angels in my collective. So we have Ace of Michael. A wonderful new idea. Don't allow bumps in the road to hinder your progress. Clear up communication problems with others. So, as we begin and as we move through this time, over the next week to 10 days, you know, he's on top of the mountain, his wings raised, his sword up. I'm going to mess with this. I'm trying to do this. I got the cat in one arm. Beautiful imagery. Just triumphant. So he's saying, you know, as we move through these times, there may be things that shake your faith. There may be things that you watch the news and you see these things that, whether you believe the government's putting these stories out to keep us in fear so we don't ascend, regardless of what conspiracy theories are out there, what truth is out there, and it's really hard to tell one from the other nowadays. Keep your eyes on the prize. This is the words they're giving me. Just keep your head forward and keep walking. Just keep walking. You see in the movies the hero is walking away, and as he walks away, the whatever explodes in this massive fireball, and he never even twitches. That is how every one of us have to be over the next couple of weeks. And really moving onward from here in general. We'll be here for 17 more lifetimes. We're not going anywhere. We just got to keep our nose forward, keep our eyes looking ahead, with faith and love and just the best intentions. And we have to really start releasing the relationships that no longer serve us. Right now in the book, they got me working on a chapter which I've received the information. I haven't physically put it down yet. I got to get back and kind of re-channel it and kind of have them bring it through again to put it down. But about, as we're in this time of purge and we're releasing things that no longer serve us, it can cause sadness, anxiety, and fear, because we might be drifting away from relationships and friendships and partnerships that we've had for 20 years. But we shouldn't have had them for 20 years. We've stayed in them out of some feeling of loyalty or because that's what you're supposed to do. But, energy can do one of two things. It can either increase or decrease. And two items of an energetic value occupying the same space have to either align, whether the one comes down or the other goes up, either align to each other or resonate on a common ground or meet in the middle. The problem is when you are raising your vibration and you are moving forward with things, those who are stuck in a lower vibrational existence, who maybe can't raise their vibration or choose not to raise their vibration, are going to be forced to either have to raise their vibration in order to keep up, or they're going to fall behind. And that falling behind, that's when suddenly, you don't really resonate anymore. When you talk, you bicker, or it's just awkward, or you're just over it. You can't deal with the addictions they have or the problems that they cause you anymore, and you just drift apart. But there's a sadness in that, especially if it's a family member or a lover or a friend that you had for so long. There's a sadness in when that detach happens. And the message they were giving me was, basically, I'm just going to let them come through because I'm trying to put words to it. And you can either shed a tear today or shed 100 tears tomorrow. Come on, kitty. Oh, Jesus, she almost jumped right to the floor. I think that sums it up. The sadness we'll feel today will only be worse if we resonate in the low frequency resonance. So I'm probably running very long here. I don't know where my timestamp on this is running at this point. I do apologize for that. We had a lot of cards to get through. I hope it all made sense to you. I hope the message came through to you. Many of you out there watching this are probably like, I don't even know what you're talking about. And you know what? That's good. That's because you have been kept pure and out of the sludge. But I know from people I know personally, and even myself, when I check on my YouTube channels in the morning, all the suggested videos about the Homeland Security, whatever, just released, had a leak, and they've confirmed the existence of asteroid X, and just don't buy into it is all I'm saying. Stay high vibrational, stay full of love, and stay being awesome. Thank you all again. Hopefully next week I'll have it figured out, or I'll abide by the angels and stick to that 2.5 minutes per slide allotment to try to keep these things a little shorter for you and just get to the point. Stay safe, stay happy. I will be seeing you next week. I guarantee it will still be here. And I'll see if I can get that working. If not, I'll probably have another one just for the other long one like this, and then I'll go back to using the 2.5 minute slides, I guess. I've contacted Apple. Hopefully they can resolve it, but I'm sure I'm number 879,000th on their list of problems right now. All right, so you guys have a blessed week, and I will see you soon.